What is up, guys? Shumble Gaming here with another Redfall video. This time it will be my review, or at least just my overall thoughts on this game. Redfall has been out for about a little bit over a week now. It was released on May 2nd, and I'm about 35-ish, maybe a little bit closer to 40 hours in on this. I have played through the game several times with mostly all of the characters, and I don't know. I feel like I've played a completely different game than everyone else on the internet has. I absolutely love this game. Love a lot of things about it. I think the game is thrilling. I think the game is suspenseful. I think at times it's challenging in a good way. I think at times it's an absolute blast to play. I mean, it is a first-person, open-world, vampire shoot-'em-up game. That's what it is. If you're looking for something else, then I don't know. I don't know what you were looking for in this game. It's just a fun, easy, not stupid, but stupid game to play. I mean, that is what it is. And this game has not gone over good with the majority of the video game world. I'm certainly on the minority in this game. This has been absolutely chewed up, spit out, and ran over by a bus 15 times since launch. It's gotten so bad that Phil Spencer has come out and apologized for the state of this game, apologized to Microsoft and Xbox users, and saying that they need to do a better job overall as a company. And look, I'm not going to disagree with that point. But overall with this game, I just don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be. I think the majority of people that are ripping this game apart are just people doing it for clicks. I really do. I mean, the majority of these videos, these people saying that this game is such a disaster, it's unplayable. You know, a lot of people calling it Redfall, and just, I mean, most of these videos came out within 5, 8, less than hours, less than a day of the game's launch. And I know some of these people had early access to it, but I don't know. It just seems to me that that's kind of like the thing to do with this game, and that's what's getting clicks. That's what's getting the million view videos right now, is making fun of this game in its current state. And this game isn't a great game. Let's get that out of the way right now. This game is not a great game. It is not a must-play game. Like, what are you waiting for? How have you not downloaded this game yet? There's been a lot of great games. I almost didn't play this game because of these initial YouTube reviews and video game site reviews. I was having so much fun playing Jedi Survivor. I was having so much fun playing Dead Island 2, which I still got to go back and finish, that I was thinking, you know what? So many people are saying this game is in such a bad spot. It's unplayable. Maybe I'm going to hold off on this, and I'm going to play some of these games I need to finish up that I've been having a really, really good time playing. And, man, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I decided, you know what? This has been one of my most anticipated games of the year. It is the exact type of game that I like. It is a it's not like Borderlands, which is my favorite video game series of all time, but like the way the game is drawn, the fan art in it, and like, I don't know, the way the gunplay is, and the loot system and stuff like that. To me, it's a little bit more like Borderlands, if you're familiar with that, which again is one of my favorite video game series of all time. And I was so excited for this game that I decided I need to play it. And again, I'm glad I did. I don't know. I feel like I've played a completely different game than everyone else who has been reviewing it. It's been so much fun. I am looking forward to getting into it even more. In this video, I'm going to share some of the things that I love about this game, mainly the characters, the gunplay, stuff like that. And then I will also share some things about this game that I didn't like. There are some things about this game that are not user-friendly, that are kind of bad mechanics and stuff like that. But overall, I love this game. It's not a great game, but I love this game. It's a lot of fun to play. I think more people should play it. I don't think people should just, kind of read into these initial reviews of people have played this game for 4 hours and say it's an absolute disaster. Take it from someone who's played it for a long time. The more hours you put into it, the better the game gets, and it's a lot of fun. And let's get into it. Now, the best thing about this game to me was just simply exploring the open world. You were basically dropped into a game, into the Redfall Commons area, and you come out of a ship, and the world is basically yours to explore. You will be tasked with going to a fire hall where you will encounter your first vampire that you will stake through the heart. And after that, you'll have to turn the power on, basically rescuing the fire station. you will accept the main mission, and then after that, you will leave the fire station, and the game is pretty much up to you as to do as you wish. If you want to just go about the world and start exploring, you can. If you want to find safe houses, you can do that too. If you want to go about trying to find side quests, that's another path. Or if you want to just go back to the fire station and just do all the main quests, you can as well. The majority of my time in this game is spent simply wandering about the world of the Redfall Commons, and then eventually Burial Point, discovering all the named locations, fighting enemies, finding the different types of vampires, trying to find different secrets, finding collectibles, finding the lore, and stuff like that. And to me, that's what I love about games like this, where you are simply able to do as you wish. You can even do the main storylines in any order as you want. You don't have to follow a simple path and do whatever the game tells you to do. You can do things in whatever order that you want, and to me that is a really awesome user-friendly experience. Now, going about exploring the open world of Redfall Commons and eventually Burial Point, and as you're doing the main mission, the game can be challenging at first. The best thing to do is, after you explore a little bit and you do some main missions, is you need to focus on getting better loot, mainly guns and what the game calls blood remnants, which are basically health upgrades and perk upgrades. And then you also will need to, of course, level up and put points into your abilities, which will help you out in combat. At first, the game can be challenging because you don't have the best of guns, and they're not that great to use. They kind of suck. You don't really have any abilities yet, and the ones that you do have are not upgraded, so they don't do too much. But as you go about the game, the best thing to do as far as getting loot is, when you find and discover monster nests, is to go in and do them. They're pretty simple to do. They only take a couple minutes, and at the end of them, you will always be able to run around for about a minute and loot all of the chests in the area, and most of them will have good guns and blood remnants in them. The best way, though, to get loot and to get better guns is to summon rooks. And eventually you will do this at a certain point in the main quest line, where you will start fighting rooks. The rooks always drop a legendary weapon, and the legendary weapons in this game are awesome. They are so overpowered, and they will help you take down vampires with ease. And this is when the game really starts to get fun, in my opinion. Once you start getting some better weapons and you have your abilities upgraded, you can really start having fun with the combination of the two. You can start going on some cultist and vampire killing massacres. Now, I wish there was maybe a wider variety of guns in this game, but you still have shotguns, assault rifles, pistols, sniper rifles, and then, of course, you have my favorite, which is the stake launchers, which are great for taking out vampires at a distance. You also have a UV beam, which you can use to freeze blood bags and vampires. There are flare guns in the game as well. And then you have the different abilities from the 4 different characters that are in this game. For me, my favorite character was Jacob. He had my favorite abilities. One of them is he can send out a raven, which will scout and mark enemies for him. He has an ability that makes him go invisible, which in this game, it can come in handy a lot. Anytime you get ambushed by a horde of vampires, you can basically go invisible and get out of the area. You can also use it to sneak up on enemies and kill them. And then, of course, the reason I really like this guy is because his ultimate ability is one of my favorite abilities I've ever used in any game. And that is where he summons a sniper rifle, and when it's fully upgraded, automatically targets people's heads and just kills everyone in the area, basically. A close second to Jacob would be Divingder. He was also a lot of fun to play. One of his abilities is he throws a javelin that basically stuns and electrifies everyone in the area. He has a teleportation device that he can use for getting out of tricky situations or just helping you get around the map easier. And then he has an ultimate ability where he places a UV beam that kind of freezes all the vampires in the area. When that's fully upgraded, it's very helpful with dealing with the massive hordes of vampires you're constantly attacking in this game. Then we also have Layla, who has a fun ability which basically surrounds herself with an umbrella that absorbs damage coming in, and when it's fully charged, will release it back out, stunning the enemies and doing damage. She has another ability where she basically places a pillar on the ground, which is kind of helpful in combat, but it's really just more helpful for getting around the map. You will basically jump into the air and then float down. And then her ultimate ability is fun. She calls in her vampire boyfriend, who basically goes on a massive killing spree, taking out all the enemies in the area. The fourth champion is Remy. This was my least favorite. Didn't have too much fun playing her, but she has a companion that she can send out that can do damage and distract enemies. She also has a C4 charge that she can throw and detonate, which when paired with the companion can be really helpful. And then she has an ultimate ability, which she basically places like a beacon down that heals her and all the allies in the area. And when fully upgraded, also does damage to the enemies. And you will need the help of all these champions and the guns that you find in this game to deal with the massive amounts of enemies that this game is constantly throwing at you. Redfall has vampires all over the place. There are special vampires as well, such as the Siphon, which can suck your blood from a distance. There is also the Shroud Vampire, which basically limits the amount of visibility you have when fighting it. There are Watchers all over the place that when they spot you will raise an alarm and could snipe you from a distance. And then there was my personal least favorite, and that was the Angler, which basically can go invisible, and then if it grabs you, it will pull you in and take a giant chunk out of your neck, basically one-shotting you. As far as the main storyline in this game, it's definitely a little underwhelming. I'll be honest. It's not great. It's way too short, number one, and a lot of the main missions that there are like can be completed in 5 minutes. I mean, there's literally one that you go to a garage and you grab a shotgun, and that's it. That's the mission. There's also some pretty good ones, though, too, and I'm going to keep this video as spoiler-free as I can, but to learn how some of these vampires, like the Hollow Man and the ones later in the game, came to be is actually pretty interesting. There's actually a decent little storyline behind it. And again, it's not great. This isn't a story-driven game. If you're looking for an absolutely great story that's going to blow you away, this isn't the game. But there are some pretty decent main missions in the storylines about how these vampires came to be and what happened in Redfall Commons and Burial Point. Don't forget, too, while you're exploring the open world, that there are plenty of secrets to discover in both the Redfall Commons and Burial Point maps, such as the Wayland Hollow Vampire. And then there is a really cool puzzle in the second part of the map, Burial Point, about the Blackwood sister house and what happened with them. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned there were some things about this game that I didn't like. But again, none of them were major enough to drive me away from this game or make me not like this game or anything. If anything, there were just some minor annoyances. Number one, when you accept a main mission or side mission, why can't it just put the mission objective on your map or on your compass? Instead, you have to go into the map every time and place a marker or a pin. I don't know. Just kind of seemed weird to me that there's a compass on the top of the screen, but they don't put the main mission objective on it unless like you're close to it. Also, this is a game that relies heavily on sneak at times, and unfortunately, it's not a great sneak system, even with Jacob and when you can go invisible. Why is there not a takedown ability in this game? I mean, come on, it's a vampire game. How cool would it be to sneak up behind a vampire and drive a stake through the back of it, killing it? Instead, you just walk up behind it and you melee it, and it does absolutely nothing. I wish there was some type of takedown ability in this game. I wish there was a way to upgrade your weapons. Anytime you find a good legendary weapon or a good legendary remnant, you end up just outgrowing it within a few levels and then replacing it. I wish there was a way to match it to your current level, so when you find a weapon that you really like, you don't have to get rid of it within like an hour or two. And then I do wish there was maybe just a little bit more of, there could definitely be more side quests in this game, even more exploration. Again, this is a big open world, especially the Burial Point part of the map, and they probably didn't fill it or use it as much as they could. There definitely could have been some cooler side quests and stuff like that involved in the game. Now, as I start to wrap up this video and start sharing my final thoughts on this game, Redfall, overall, there's some things I need to mention as well still, but I just can't stress enough about how much I love Redfall. I think it's a really fun game to play. And I know some of the people that I talk to that I've worked with on making collectible guides and achievement guides and stuff like that as well have also shared this sentiment with me. Just don't understand the constant bashing of this old game overall. I've had so much fun playing it. I told my fiance I literally can't stop playing it. I'm addicted to it. And I don't know. I feel like, again, I already mentioned this, but I feel like I've played a completely different game than everyone else has. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, though, and that's the great thing about YouTube and social media and all these things that we all like to use, is that everyone's entitled to their opinion, and you can agree with it or disagree with it. There's definitely going to be people that disagree with all the things I've said and say, no, this game does suck, and I don't understand what you're saying. I can't believe you've played it as much as you have, and that's fine. And I'm open to debate in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about the game, but I just love it so much. Not a great game. It's not a game that's gonna blow you away. Like, holy crap! What are you doing? Why have you not played it? Like I said, but it's a fun game. I've enjoyed it really much. As far as performance of the game, which I haven't mentioned yet. Now I'm playing this game on Xbox Series X. The game ran fine for me. Yes, the frame rates did drop at times. There were more than normal crashes, and there were bugs. But I know on PC it has ran a lot worse, and that is unfortunate. Obviously, those people either paid for the game or downloaded the game through Game Pass, and they can't play it on PC, and that's really unfortunate. It's kind of the norm for a lot of these big game companies. I know Jedi Survivor had a lot of problems on PC at launch as well. On Xbox Series X, though, all I can say is it ran fine, other than just some normal bugs and stuff for any game coming out at launch. I never played this game in co-op yet. And I imagine this game would be an absolute blast in co-op. I can only imagine playing with 3 friends on this game and going about and killing vampires and doing the monster nest. I think it would be a blast. I just haven't played co-op yet. I plan on it because those are the last achievements that I need in it. As far as achievements, this is a terrible achievement list. If you are a completionist, if you are an achievement hunter, this is not a attractive achievement list. There are a ton of missable achievements. I think it's somewhere in like the 25 missable achievement range. There is a collectible achievement as well that is missable, and it's not a great achievement list, but I've managed to knock pretty much all of them out except for the co-op ones in about 35, 40 hours. So I don't know. I don't think it's too bad. And then as far as a couple other little things about this game, Redfall did release on Game Pass, which is how I played it. Now, it's entirely possible that if I would have spent $70 on this price tag, that I may have had a little bit of a different opinion on it. I think there was even a deluxe version that they released too for somewhere in the 80 to 90 range. I mean, being a Game Pass user, it was a no-brainer to download this and play it. I'm glad I didn't listen to the initial reviews. I'm glad I gave it a try. And I hope they continue to work on this game. I'm sure they will. I hope there's some DLCs planned. I think you could easily add to this game. You could easily add some expansions. You could add some things to the map. And I hope they do. But that's overall was my thoughts on this game. It got bashed really hard in the beginning. And I think the dust has kind of settled. And I think I wanted to get my opinion out there of someone who's really stuck with it for this week and played it a lot. And at first, I didn't really like it as much, and I really do enjoy it, and I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad I played with it as much as I've had. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments about some of the things I've talked about here. I really loved the combat. I really loved the gameplay. I really loved the looting system. Some things I didn't like, I mentioned some minor user experience things that weren't friendly for the player. But overall, I mean, just exploring the open world and finding the secrets and doing the side quests and finding the safe houses and stuff like that. It was fun for me. It was enjoyable. And the nonstop combat of fighting vampires is what this game is. And I really enjoyed that. It's been a great game for me. I don't think it's a great game, but I think it was a great game for me. And yeah, those are my overall thoughts on Redfall. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching.